I'm Leah Lawrence.
And I'm her husband, Mitch Lawrence.
And you are listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast, where I regale my husband with Southern stories of the macabre, creepy, and strange.
And I drink.
And what are you drinking tonight, Mitch?
We're going to have some Tart Vise Raspberry Tart Ale that is brewed and canned by the Jekyll Brewing Company in Alpharetta, Georgia. 4.4% alcohol by volume. Let's read the can. This Berliner Weiss style ale is brewed to be refreshing, tart, and crushable. We complemented the tartness with a splash of raspberry for a subtle and pleasant twist. Tart Weiss is built for the lawn, the beach, patios, and tailgating.
It doesn't taste like anything.
For me, this kind of tastes like the Sprite machine ran out of syrup.
Yep.
I dislike absolutely nothing about it, but it's hard to find something to like about it. It's crisp. There's a small amount of raspberry flavor to it. Mm-hmm. Other than that, it just tastes like a soda, like soda water.
Yeah.
You know, like no syrup in the Sprite machine, like I said.
Yeah, if you breathe out real heavy, it kind of tastes like a raspberry, but not quite.
Agreed. It's very, very light. That 4.4% alcohol by volume really helps that. It presents nothing bad about it. I even let one get warm and tried it then. There's no bad flavor to it, but that's only because there isn't really a flavor to speak of at all.
But if you're not a beer drinker and you're looking to look cool drinking a beer, I definitely recommend this because anybody can just up and sip one of these. It's not bad at all.
Just have you a raspberry tart ale. I give it a 6 out of 10 because it doesn't suck. If it tasted bad, it would be worse, but it doesn't taste much at all, so you can still like it. You just won't hate it. At least I don't. Our whiskey, well, our liquor, I fucking ruined it. But it's our liquor for the night. John's Alabama Single Malt Whiskey. Distilled and bottled by the John Emerald Distilling Company in Opelika, Alabama. 43% alcohol by volume. Let's read the bottle. Malt whiskey distilled from pecan and peachwood smoked malted barley. This is a sweeter whiskey. You can clearly taste that pecan flavor, even in a cocktail. And I say that because we made a whiskey sour, and even with all that sour mix in it, you can still really taste a pecan flavor.
Yeah, and I added way too much sour mix, so that should tell you something.
And it still comes through. But I still like it. It gets an 8 out of 10 from me in that cocktail. 8 out of 10 on ice by itself, still really good. So with those two scores, it gets an 8 out of 10 overall. John Emerald makes great products. We've said before, they also make gin. Don't know that we're going to try that because neither one of us like gin, but we might. We might get there.
No.
I don't know.
Unless someone gives us a bottle personally and says, here, you have this. I'm not paying for gin. I'm just not.
I just want to make you drink 2 shots of gin.
Absolutely not.
I really want
Gin tastes like paint thinner and Christmas. It's awful.
Gin's real bad.
Ugh.
Real bad.
No, thank you.
Well, those are our alcohols for the night. Leah, do we have any fun place names?
We sure do, and this time I've actually done a little bit of research, and it's not in the state of Alabama.
No, you haven't. No.
It's from Georgia.
Oh. I mean, that's like Alabama.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same thing.
It's just like right over there, but it's in a different state, so give me a little credit.
Okay. You get a very small amount of credit.
All right. So this particular town is located in Bulloch.
Keep trying. We'll get there.
Bulloch. I'm going to call that Bulloch.
Bull. Yeah, it's Bulloch.
Bulloch? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Bulloch, Georgia, in that county. And so it is spelled, because I had to look up a pronunciation for this one. It is spelled Hopeullikit. Now, what would you say that was, Mitch?
Hope you lick it.
That's what I said, but no. It's actually Hope You Like It, Georgia.
No, it's
and
Hope You Lick
it looks like Hope You Lick It.
I've said that so many times.
I've seen the picture of the street signs, and it looks like Welcome to Hope You Lick It.
Ugh.
But no, it's Hope You Like It, and the name comes from, in the 1920s, there was a really popular dance hall there called the Hope You Lick It Dang it.
It is Hope You Lick It. I got it right.
Called the Hope You Like It Dance Hall. And so just a community grew up around that particular area. So now we have Hope You Like It, Georgia. And
It was a dance hall?
It was the Hope You Like It Dance Hall in the 20s and 30s. So, now it's Hope You Like It, Georgia. And I hope you like it. I've never been, but I'm sure it's great.
I'm still going to say Georgia. Hope You Lick It.
It looks like Hope You Lick It.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want a t-shirt that just says Hope You Lick It.
Gross.
Excuse me. Ooh.
Nice.
Sorry. All right, so that's Hope You Lick It, Georgia.
We maybe have found the title of the episode already. I'm just going to call it Hope You Lick It. Like, I'm going to spell it out correctly and space it correctly. Hope You Lick It. Mm-hmm. Well, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Those Georgia folk always with their gross shit. Don't sue us, Georgia. We already got the name wrong.
I like Georgia. I don't know what your problem is.
Just kind of overall.
Georgia's pretty rockin'. I've not had a problem in Georgia.
I'm a Braves fan.
That's cool.
Does that count?
Didn't they build a new stadium?
Last year. This is not the sports podcast.
Sorry.
Let's move on.
All right.
Let's get our first story, please.
Okay, we can do that.
Yay.
So our first story comes from Bladenboro, North Carolina.
Bladenboro?
Bladenboro. You don't seem excited about Bladenboro, North Carolina.
I'm confused.
Why are you confused?
Well, maybe not confused, but I'm apprehensive.
Well, would you like to know the title of the story?
Can I guess?
Go for it.
The Bladenboro Vampire? It's what Blade was based on. The Blade movie series.
Yeah, well, Bladenboro Beast is going to be another episode, and that is what it's based on. But no, today we're going to do the other story out of Bladenboro, North Carolina, and it's the fire poltergeist.
What?
Yeah.
Listen to our other Poltergeist podcast.
All right, so our story begins in the small rural town of Bladenboro, North Carolina. It started on January the 30th of 1932 in the home of Lydia and Council H. Williamson. And they also had a 21-year-old daughter, Kate, just hanging around the house.
Did you say 1932?
1932.
Okay.
So Lydia was in their dining room doing whatever 30s housewives do in dining rooms at that time. I don't know what it would be. Probably cleaning something. And she was
crossed.
Just hanging out in the dining room, and one of the window curtains spontaneously caught fire. So Lydia was like, whoa, that's a fire, and started screaming. And Council Williamson, sidebar, his name is Council. Who names their child Council?
Wait, I thought that was a title.
It's not a title. His name is Council H. Williamson.
Like spelled like city council?
Council. Hard with letters. Council is his name.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway,
all right.
I'm going to keep calling him CW because I think the word council is hard to say.
C-dubs.
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 So Lydia was screaming, and C-dubs came in, running to her aid, like you do, because he was CW. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, crap, there's a fire on the wall. So he pulls down the curtain, and he stomps out the fire, and they're like, oh, well, glad that's out.
I think I've solved this case already.
Okay.
Do you want me to guess?
I mean, go for it.
You want me to say what it is?
Sure.
All right, at least with this one. She was in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Well,
she was in the dining room.
Dining room. I'm sorry. Never mind, my case is falling apart.
All right,
it hasn't. She's in the dining room.
Yeah.
And it's the 30s.
Yes.
She probably has a mason jar or something by a window, and the sun is shining through right on that curtain. Bam, goes up. Like ants with a magnifying glass.
I don't think that's how that works.
You can start a fire that way.
Well, yeah, but inside?
Yeah, why not?
In January?
Yeah, the sunlight is very strong. UV rays are quite powerful.
I don't know.
Powerful as a fire poltergeist.
Probably not. Can I keep going?
Sure, but I've solved the case.
I doubt that. Anyway, so shortly after that fire was extinguished, they're like, oh, phew. Fire out. Awesome. Crisis averted. Oh, another curtain bursts into flames in that same room.
I have another mason jar.
Yeah, and just
have two mason jars.
They really like mason jars.
Have you ever had one mason jar? No, you buy a set of mason jars.
I'm sure that's what happened, but yeah. So that other curtain caught fire, and they're like, oh shit, another curtain on fire. So they ripped the curtain down, stomped it out, and they're like, phew, done. All right. So the next day, so that would make it January the 31st, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are 31 days. Okay.
Yes.
So on January the 31st, a set of bed sheets spontaneously ignited and burned in one of their closets.
Well, they shouldn't keep the mason jars in the closet.
You've got to drop this mason jar bullshit.
I'm telling you, that's what it is.
All right. So then another fire broke out and incinerated a pile of papers that they had tucked in a cabinet or something.
They keep mason jars in the cabinets too?
Will you fucking shut up about the mason jars? Jesus.
Look, I solved the case.
Uh-huh. So then later that same day, a pair of pants that was hanging in the closet also ignited and burned to a crisp.
Goodness.
And then their daughter's dress lit on fire. Like the hem of her dress just spontaneously caught fire, and they had to like smack it out. I don't know how you would put out a dress fire, but apparently she was fine and she didn't like get burnt
scary.
or anything.
She was wearing that dress?
She was wearing the dress while it was on fire. So they got that put out, and no harm came to Kate. But then all sorts of other things started lighting on fire. Over 20 separate little fires were reported by the family. And my shot in the dark question, number 1 today, is what color were the flames of this mysterious fire?
Ugh.
Was it A, white, B, green, C, blue?
Oh, I don't even have orange as an option.
No, they were white, green, or blue. Which one were they?
White, green, or blue?
Fiery flames of the poltergeist.
Oh, man, this is a hard one.
Pick a color, any color.
All right, I'm going to say green.
You are wrong. Shot.
Tell me what it was first.
It was blue.
I knew it. I knew it.
I'm sure you did. You just really like that John Emerald whiskey.
I don't want to shoot it, though.
It is a bit expensive to be shooting, let's be honest.
Yeah, that was what, $45, I think?
Yeah.
$50 for that bottle?
Yeah. It was
Worth
his
it, though.
Easter basket present.
Yay! Easter Buddy brought me whiskey.
The Easter giraffe brought you whiskey?
Oh, yeah. Leah's terrified of bunnies.
Easter bunnies specifically.
I'm putting that out into the world.
You didn't need to let everybody know that.
All right, here we go. Shot.
There it went. Chasing it down with that raspberry stuff.
Mm-mm.
No?
No, I didn't like that.
No? Shouldn't shoot that.
Mm-mm.
So,
Also spilled some on my face.
So like 0 out of 10 when you shoot it?
Oh, well, it's just one of those that anybody that's ever had shots of whiskey knows that it's like you drink it and then your whole body gets chills and then everything inside of you just goes, let's reject this. Like a bad blood transfusion.
I don't think that's it at all.
Rejecting it was what I was saying. My body is rejecting this shot.
Ah.
But I'm all right.
Rock on.
I'll just keep drinking this Tart. You know what? Maybe that's what this beer's for.
It's a chaser.
I mean, not like a chaser, but like it's like Sprite. It'll settle your stomach.
Yeah.
All those bubbles in there just make your tummy feel all good. I think that's what it is.
Please stop rubbing your belly. That's really weird.
We have got to start simulcasting with video on these so people can see me
not.
rub my belly.
No one needs to see that. All right, so Each of these fires were said to have bluish flames, and they burned the materials really fast, but it didn't really put off any smoke, and there was hardly any odor. So when you set a fire or a candle or whatever, you smell the flame, there's smoke. You can smell fire. Apparently, none of these fires put off that kind of smoke or odor, and the fires consumed the items that were on fire, but anything that was next to it didn't burn, didn't scorch, didn't catch fire like you would expect it to. There was no damage from the heat. It was just sort of a weird... So, like, if...
Well, did the things that caught fire burn up?
They did.
Okay. So it wasn't like a what's the word I'm thinking of?
Not everything...
superficial fire where it's just on the outside.
Now, not
and
everything
nothing
obviously would have burnt all the way up because they were trying to put the fires out as it happened.
But there were scorch marks.
But they were scorched, or like the papers burnt up, or that one pair of pants hanging in the closet burnt up, but what was hanging next to it didn't.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
It didn't spread at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There were no real spreading fires, which is nice, I guess, but
still
still, little spontaneous fires all over your house in 1932 sounds terrifying.
We can always debate if that's nice or not.
Whatever.
I guess you take the good with the bad.
So it was at that point that the family just noped right the fuck out. They were like, bye. So they left the house and went to stay with friends because ain't nobody got time for 20 fires in your house in 2 days. Yeah. It was just, they were like,
All that was in the period of 2 days?
2 days. It was January the 30th and January the 31st.
I thought it kept going.
Just those 2 days. And then on February the 1st of 1932, so on the third day, they left and stayed with friends while local authorities had sort of marked off their house and, began an investigation. But shit kept lighting on fire with the weird blue flames, and
just in the house, though.
Just in the house, and the officers were like, okay, that's fucking weird. And so it said in some of the articles of the time that they sent particles of the burned material to the state chemist to test it and see if something weird was on it, if it was like a chemical. And no one ever said anything about if the test results came back or if it was actually a test.
Everybody just forgot.
It just ran out. That's just nothing.
I do. Didn't the stock market crash right around then? Or was it later on in the 30s? I'm saying it could have been one of those that was forgotten about because everything else was going on.
You're putting me on the spot, sir.
Okay. Well, I was just talking. I wasn't really looking for an answer.
All right.
It was just they forgot about it.
Good, because unless you pause this and let me Google that shit, it is not coming from me today.
Well,
I am well versed in a lot of things, but that is not one of them. All right. So after the third day, no other fires started.
I do have a question.
It was 3 days of fiery fires.
About that. So on the second day, or after the second day, the family left, right? And
yes.
The cops were staking out the house.
Yes.
More fires were popping up while no one was in the house, right?
Yes.
Who put them out?
Well, no, the officers were in the house.
They stayed in the house?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know they...
investigating it and stuff.
Okay, they were investigating and fires popped up. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I thought they were just sitting outside of it or something.
No, just sitting on the porch looking in the windows.
I have a very Hollywood idea of what a stakeout is. Involves donuts and sitting in a car.
No, this is 1932. They were just touching everything, fingerprints everywhere. They
were just traipsing through the crime scene.
Exactly. Yeah. So... after, like I said, the third day, no other fire started, and the Williamsons were like, all right, I guess it's died down. That's cool. And they moved back in, and there was never another experience of the paranormal flames from that family in the house. So
but they kept living there?
Yeah, they just moved back in because there were no more fires, so...
They never had another incident. It was just 3 days worth of fires.
Just 3 days worth of weird-ass blue fire.
I guess it wasn't the mason jars.
Like you do.
Then.
Probably not the mason jars.
I don't know. Maybe they threw out all their mason jars after that.
So, people wonder, what happened? What caused this stuff? And so...
I wonder that.
The first explanation is, obviously, it was a freaking poltergeist. Come on.
A flame-throwing poltergeist.
Flame-throwing poltergeist.
Like a Skyrim character
yeah.
is just in the house, but he has a 100-level sneak.
Yeah, so
nobody ever sees him.
Yeah, the paranormal community point to, it's sort of a traditional folkloric spirit. It's a fire poltergeist, and it's just a vengeful spirit that manifests itself as just these intense blazing fires that flare up and go away. Now, there are fire poltergeists that have been reported throughout the Western world. It's mostly of European folkloric descent. But yeah, fire poltergeists are a thing that you can... There's a lot of different stories about that kind of thing that
this
crop
isn't
up
a
around the world.
one-time occurrence.
No. Fire poltergeists, there's a couple of different iterations of them and stories from different time periods.
That's surprising.
Yeah. So
I've heard of like spontaneous combustion, like a person, but it's normally to do with falling asleep with a cigarette type of thing.
I mean, there's spontaneous combustion and there's spontaneous human combustion.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about spontaneous human combustion.
I am.
This is just spontaneous combustion, period.
That's
Which
upsetting.
is possible when you've got certain chemicals that accidentally sat together, or they get overheated and there's tinder and,
Or there's a fire poltergeist.
Or, sometimes it's just that fire poltergeist.
It's just, you know what? Sucks to be you.
Yeah, and so then obviously there's the skeptical explanation. And we're going back to Joe Nickel here of the Center for Inquiry.
Old Joe.
Or the CFI for short.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Pretty sure we talked about this guy when we did the Pascagoula abduction.
Probably.
Because he's the one who was like, it was a hypnagogic state.
Yeah.
That guy?
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's the same guy. Anyway.
I remember hypnagogic.
Basically, he thinks that people were starting the fires. He thinks that it was Kate, their 21-year-old daughter that I told you about.
I'd
that
say
she
so.
lit on fire.
In the 30s, she's 21 living at home. She's an old maid by that point.
Yeah, I know, right? But he attributes the phenomenon to what he calls, and has self-coined the term, poltergeist faking syndrome. Because that's...
It's a syndrome?
Apparently.
Can you catch it?
I don't know. But Nickel has even pointed to a well-known case that happened in Talladega, Alabama in the 50s, in 1958.
Ooh.
So dozens of small, unexplainable fires were igniting in the home of Calvin Tuck Sr., and the fires freaked him out so bad that he went to preachers, he went to voodoo folk, he was trying any which way to figure this out and make these fires stop, because he thought he was haunted AF, bro. But what ultimately made the fire stops was that his 9-year-old son confessed to the police that he was the one starting the fires, because they had just moved to this town, and he did not want to move away from his friends back home, and he thought that if he sought all these little fires and thought that made his dad think that the house was haunted, that they could move back to where they were from. And that's kind of what he suspects Kate of doing, that she wanted attention or something like that.
Or a husband. She was getting old.
Yeah. Because,
it was
that
1932.
fire poltergeist just draws in the men.
No, she just wanted to, she was lonely.
Light things on
Fire
fire.
was her only friend.
Yeah, entice those local firemen to come around.
Oh, that's what it was. She was looking for a man in uniform.
Yeah.
I know what you're up to, Kate.
Yeah, that's what the skeptic man thinks of that particular case. And if you want to read about it, the CFI has a whole write-up of what they think happened in that particular case. It's an interesting read. So that's basically the two different opposition points of what may have happened there. But yeah, he just thinks it was Kate starting these little fires. And so after the story came out in the local paper, other tabloids and mysterious collection magazine kind of, there were a lot of weird magazines that went around at the time just as entertainment, you know what I mean? Not even specifically newspaper stuff. So those kind of magazines got a hold of it and just blew it up out of proportion. So, I mean, sometimes they're reported way more crazy stuff or less. It just depends. Some people say the house didn't. It was only those first 2 days that actually happened, and that the police never staked it out, or etc.
Or that there was only one fire, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's, like I said, the different varying accounts of this story are just a lot. So, in all honesty, now they know something happened, and there was a couple of unexplained fires, but the extent to which this story has taken off may have just been, tabloids being tabloids in the 30s.
Well, I prefer to think that it was just a poltergeist.
It was a fire poltergeist. I mean,
I've given up my mason jar theory.
Yeah,
I've been
it
proven
was
wrong.
the freaking poltergeist.
It definitely wasn't Kate.
No.
We know that.
I mean, she lit herself on fire. That's kind of hardcore.
Well, I mean, I think she just wanted the attention. I think that right there was her saying, "It's me." You see? Because she was lighting them, and then she was like, "I'll light myself on fire so everybody will look at me." And then everybody was looking.
But, like, when you say everybody, it was just her mom and dad in the house.
Yes, but what other attention is she getting?
I
who
would
else
have,
is she
like,
seeking
lit
out?
myself on fire in the middle of somewhere if I'm attention seeking, but...
Right, but she's also a single 21-year-old in the 30s. She's not going anywhere.
I was a single 21-year-old in the...
In the 20 teens. That's a big difference.
Oh.
You're allowed to have a career now.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet.
I give you this opportunity.
Are you sure it's not just because we're poor and I've got
Mostly, it's, yes. Mostly, that's why I am giving you this opportunity and making you feel okay about it.
My gosh,
making you
you're
feel
the
like it was your decision.
sweetest. Oh, best husband ever.
Right. As my legal property, I have the authority to instill these beliefs.
Well, that's really kind of you.
Mm-hmm.
But that was basically everything with the fire poltergeist.
Well, I wish there was more to it.
Yeah, you'd think with this title, like, Fire Poltergeist, that it would be more, but it's not. Sorry.
Look, I play a lot of video games. This is really reminiscent of Skyrim, like I've already said.
Yeah.
And, or any of the BioShock games.
Uh-huh.
You just chunk fireballs at people. So, I mean, I just think this was made up all across the board. Now, I have bounced around on my theories so far.
You are not a very decisive person, though.
No,
So.
but I'm very easy to manipulate.
Just sipping over here.
Yeah, you get your sip on.
All right. So, are you ready for our second story?
Yes, I am.
Well, this one is very long, so strap in.
Oh, God, I don't have this kind of time.
Alrighty.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so this one is from Greenbrier County, West Virginia.
Goodness.
Yep. It's called the Greenbrier Ghost.
Ooh.
You excited?
I'm so excited.
Have you ever heard of this one?
Nope.
All right, this is exciting.
I've never heard of any of these. That's kind of the point of the podcast.
Well, yeah, but like I kind of expect that one day you're just going to be like, ooh, I know that one, yes.
Well, I may have heard of them in passing, but I have no idea details. That's for sure.
Well, let me clue you in.
Thanks.
Our ghost's name is Elva Zona Hester.
Elva Zona?
Elva Zona Hester.
Okay.
Or Hester, I'm not sure. Heaster. I'm going to go with Hester.
That sounds like Haster.
Haster? Hester?
Yeah, that's probably Haster.
Haster?
I don't know.
Hester?
Fuck it. Say whatever you want to say.
I'm going to go with Hester because, yeah. Anyway, she was born in Greenbrier County, West Virginia, sometime around 1873, but the records weren't great in that part of the country at that time, so the exact date is unrecorded, so we don't know. Well. Our story starts in October of 1896. So, a drifter named, and his name, oh my God, love it. His name is Edward Stribling Trout Shoe.
Edgar Stribling Trout Shoe.
Edward Stribling Trout Shoe.
I'm sticking with Edwin.
Edward.
This guy is Edwin.
But you said Edgar first.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Edwin now.
No, he was Edward Stribling Trout Shoe, and he was wandering into town looking for work as a blacksmith like you do.
Uh-huh.
Because he was a drifter, and drifters drift.
They mostly blacksmith, I've found.
Well, turns out he was looking for work as a blacksmith, and he did find employment at the local blacksmith. Now, shot in the dark.
Son of a bitch, already?
Yes.
All right.
The local blacksmith who employed Mr. Shoe shared a name with a famous fictional cat.
What?
What was his name? Was his name A, Crookshanks, B, Bigglesworth, or C, Snagglepuss?
Tell me something before I answer this.
What?
When did you Google famous fictional cat?
Yesterday!
Because I just can't. We share a Google account because we have Google Play and YouTube Red, so we share one, and I just want to get on my Google and see in the search history famous fictional cat.
I'm not going to lie, that's exactly what I typed into Google. And there's a Wikipedia list that will tell you all the famous cats.
Oh, God.
But your options today are A, Crookshanks, B, Bigglesworth, or C, Snagglepuss.
I don't know if I should go with the one that sounds like an actual name or the two that are ridiculous.
Which is which?
No, B is the real name. Bigglesworth is like a person name.
Okay.
I know that. Someone could have that name, is what I'm saying.
But this is my favorite shot in the dark question that I've ever written.
Yeah, because you got to Google famous fictional cat.
That was actually a really fun article to read. I highly recommend it.
What? Just famous fictional cat?
Famous fictional cats.
That's
Because
an article?
yeah, it is.
I'm stalling so much as I'm frantically Googling over here.
Crookshanks, Bigglesworth, or Snagglepuss?
I'm going to say the most ridiculous one. I'm going to say Snagglepuss.
You're wrong.
God damn it.
It was Crookshanks. Crookshanks the blacksmith.
I'm going to have 2 shots of John Emerald within, I don't know, 20 minutes?
Would you like me to take a shot with you? Because I have not had a shot.
No, if you don't want it.
I'm incredibly sober here.
I mean, you can just take a pull off the bottle. We don't have another shot glass sitting over here.
No, thank you.
No, I'm going to just take the shot.
All right, go for it.
Oh, I'm going to throw up.
I'll take that shot for you. I don't mind.
No. Stop.
I'm just trying to
Stop it.
help. You look like
Stop
you're
it.
struggling, boo.
No, yeah, I'm definitely struggling.
Sorry, I'm struggling now.
Yeah, you got the hiccups. I'm struggling. All right. That's enough stalling. Here we go.
There it went. There it goes. Huzzah.
All right, that one went better.
Because you're a little drunker?
Yes, I imagine that's it. Having one, that's it. It builds exponentially. Let's do more, and I eventually won't even taste them.
Yeah, because you'll be blacked out.
I'll be dead. I'll just keel over, and then you just keep pouring John Emerald down my throat.
That bottle is not that big.
Well, I mean, it'll get us through some shots.
Alrighty. Anyway, so Mr. Trout Shoe, he found a job at the blacksmith shop of James Crookshanks.
I'm writing that down because that's fun. I'm gonna burp. Excuse me. Oh.
And Mr. Crookshanks really has no other part in this story at all. I just
Why am
really
I writing?
liked his
I'm
name.
in the middle of writing it down.
I'm sorry. I was looking for a question and I was like, oh my God, his name is Crookshanks. Yeah.
An opportunity to Google famous fictional cats. I'm so excited.
I think the title of this show should be Famous Fictional Cats.
Yup. Writing it down. That'll be an option.
All right. So, let's forget about Mr. Crookshanks. And so Zona met Mr. Edward Stribling Trout Shoe shortly after he arrived in town and got that job with Mr. Crookshanks. And the two quickly fell in love, like you do in the 1870s. And despite Zona's mother, Mary Jane's, objection, they got married later that year because, I mean, what else are you going to do in 1873 in West Virginia?
Yeah, I agree.
Just, go for it.
All you got time to do is get married and fuck.
Well, turns out, previously, Zona had a child out of wedlock.
Oh, no, Zona.
Now, it never mentions what happened to the child, if the child made it, if they kept it, if they gave it away. Like, nothing ever comes of that line, but apparently
You
she
can
had
give them away?
Yes.
What?
Well, adoption's a thing, Mitch.
Oh, no, I mean, adoption, fine, but I thought that you were, like, she was just passing them out.
No.
Someone take this.
No.
Okay.
No.
So it went to, like, an orphanage, probably.
I don't know. It never mentions that part again.
I'm sorry for bringing it up. I was just hoping that she just gave it away.
So maybe she thought, oh, this dude doesn't know that I'm... And I'm not slut-shaming here, believe me. But, in the 1870s...
Yeah, you just
I
didn't
guess
do
that was... Yeah, you just were sort of a marked woman if you did something like that.
Yeah.
So this hobo comes straight... Oh, I shouldn't have said hobo. Y'all... That was rude.
Was that like a important factor? Or was he not a hobo?
Well, I just think hobo's sort of a rude word.
I think you're overthinking that.
Well,
I really think that you're overthinking it.
At any rate, I don't want to
hobo's
be
a rude
offensive to anybody, particularly
I don't think many hobos are going to be listening to the podcast, Leah.
Probably not, but I'm still trying to be inclusive and non-shaming and...
I understand.
Yeah, so anyway...
I'm with you.
I'm going to go with Drifter.
Okay,
so they,
Drifter.
I mean, I guess she thought, hey, this guy doesn't know about anything that happened before, and let's get married real fast. So they did. And they lived together for a couple of months, and it was all cool and stuff.
Nice.
But on January the 23rd of 1897, Mr. Shue sent an errand boy back to his house to pick up something from Zona or give it to her or something like that. Anyway, there was an errand boy, and he found Zona's body laying at the foot of the stairs.
What?
Yeah. Her legs were stretched out in front of her, kind of weird, with her feet together, and she had one hand on her stomach. And the boy was freaked out, and he ran home to tell his mother, who was like, oh shit, and she got the doctor/coroner, because apparently they were the same person.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and his name was George W. Knapp.
Like Knapp?
Yes. Exactly. How did you know how to spell that?
I'm a really good speller.
I'm a really terrible speller.
I won 2 spelling bees in 4th grade.
Look at you.
Thank you very much.
I've never spelt anything properly in my life. I apologize.
You know how I know that you're telling the truth?
Why?
Because you just said the word spelt.
That's a word.
No, it's spelled.
No, spelt's a word also.
It is not. It is in the white trash dictionary.
Okay, I'm going to call time out, and you're going to Google that shit, and you are going to find out that spelt is 100% a word.
All right. We are doing this live. I can't really type with my microphone cable here. Dictionary.com. SPELT. Let's see. All right. Oh, God. A simple past tense and past participle of spell.
Yeah, so fuck you, Mitch.
Wait, it's also a noun, one of the earliest cultivated forms of wheat.
Yeah, it's like spelt flour.
Do I need to take a shot for that?
I think I should take a shot for that.
Why? Just because you want to take a shot?
Basically.
All right. First 3-shot podcast episode. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Because I win and you lose.
So you get rewarded with nasty whiskey? Like, it's good whiskey, but
taking a shot of it's an iffy.
Yeah.
No, spelt flour's a thing too. I knew that was. But...
Look, y'all. I still stand by that spelt isn't a word. You know what else is fun?
What?
Speaking of, like, different words that people don't know are real. Mm-hmm. You know the word snuck? Like, that's a word. Everybody likes to say sneaked. No. Snuck is a word.
I say snuck. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm really bad about using antiquated words in the first place, so...
Well,
oops.
Like spelt.
Yeah. And it's a real word, so fuck you.
I apologize, everyone.
2,
I'm over here. Oh, you're taking the shot. I'm over here talking about my spelling prowess. Are you rinsing that down with water?
Yes.
What's your deal?
It's what I...
Yeah, right? There it is, the chill. You got the full body chill, didn't you? What'd I tell you?
That ran right down my spine.
Right? Really good whiskey. I do not recommend shooting it. You need to sip it.
If you need a John Emerald shooter, go with
Elizabeth
the
vodka.
Elizabeth 100%.
That stuff is so good. You know what? We might just start drinking Elizabeth vodka every episode.
That is a premium liqueur.
It's not a liqueur.
I meant
Hold on, let me Google it, and we'll see.
Stop, I'm not taking another shot for you. Hold on. Anyway.
We're all right.
So
we're good.
Nap. Okay. So we're back at the Dr. Coroner George Knapp. Spelt Knapp. Because Mitch spelt it correctly.
Hey, we're not doing this again.
So Knapp arrived to the scene about an hour after the boy found the body. And
that's pretty quick for 1870.
Yeah.
What?
They were up on it. Hold on.
How small was this town? How many burps you got over there?
I don't know.
All the burps. I told you not to take a shot.
Yeah, sorry. I messed up. But anyway. So once the doctor arrived to the Shue home, the doctor found that Mr. Shue had already come home, carried his wife's body up the stairs to the bedroom, laid her out on the bed, and he had also dressed the body for burial already in a high-necked dress with a stiff collar, and he put a veil over her face.
Huh.
Yeah. So that's a little sketchy because in that part of the world at that time, it was customary for the women of the community to wash and dress the body for burial.
Oh, that's upsetting.
Yeah.
I don't like that any more than what he did.
Why?
I just find that strange.
Okay, people and communities have been taking care of dead bodies naturally for millennia.
I get it. I understand.
I mean,
it
when
just
you don't
upsets
have
me.
a funeral home, I mean,
yeah.
And that's cheap and free. Burying a body is insanely expensive nowadays.
Sure.
Like that's...
But one person does it. Well, a very small group of people are tasked with doing that.
Yeah.
That just upsets me. And I don't know why.
Well, I mean...
It just makes me uncomfortable.
It's because you're just a westernized dude that...
A westernized dude. That's what I am.
That's like not... I mean, death is terrifying. Sure, don't get me wrong. But like, I think it's better to care for your own, you know?
Sure, but that's kind of my point is... I guess I just don't have a sense of community.
Yeah,
where I was thinking that she's not anybody else's own. But at the same time, that motherfucker's tampering with the crime scene.
Yes.
That was the original point that I was trying to get to. Was, yes, I don't care for a group of women to come around and do this thing, but him doing it himself is, like you were saying, fishy. And
anyway,
it upsets me.
Just trying not to death shame here.
Death shame?
Yeah.
Are we done? Welcome to the Death Shaming
Trying to
Podcast.
spread death positivity, making sure that you're, comfortable with the rituals around it. Anyway, at any rate...
Well, I appreciate it.
Like I said, it was really sketchy. He should not have touched that body because, I mean, that's not okay.
There are a lot of reasons.
Also, the errand boy went to errand, whatever, and then he was like, oh shit, found the body, went to his mom. Mom went to the doctor, and then they came back an hour later, and he was back at his house, which he was supposed to be at work at the blacksmith shop. Like,
nobody ever told him?
That's what I'm saying. Nobody ever reported going to
Nobody
talk to
told
him.
Mr. Trout Shoe.
No one told Trout. And so...
Shoe.
Why? No, I'm going to call him Trout. Because he's fishy.
I get it. I get it.
I'm sorry. That whiskey hit me really hard, and I apologize.
Yeah. Welcome to the party.
Yeah. So, after he did all that, Mr. Shue also stayed in the room while Dr. Knapp was trying to examine the body.
The bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah, in
Their
the bedroom
marital
upstairs.
bedroom.
Yeah. I mean,
still
there's
upset.
only, I assume, the one bedroom. It's not like they've got like a 3-bed, 2-bath patio home. I mean, it's 1870 something.
Well, is it a farmhouse?
Yeah.
They got a farm?
Yeah.
There's probably more than one bedroom.
I doubt that, seriously.
Every farmhouse I've ever seen in any movie has like 5 bedrooms, 2 stories, at least 2, maybe a basement and an attic.
Do you realize that movies are not reality?
I'm pretty sure that Signs is historically accurate.
Disagree. Anyway, so Dr. Knapp was the coroner, and he was trying to examine the body like the coroner does. That's his job.
Right.
He's got to examine the body to make sure that it's dead or something, so they don't
That
get buried
it's
like
dead.
that last one that we talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No thanks.
No. So Dr. Knapp was trying to examine the body, but Mr. Shue was not having any of it. He kept cradling the corpse's head and just sobbing over the body, being like just hysterical, just like,
Gross.
whoa. And he basically kept Dr. Knapp from doing his extensive examination. So when the doctor tried to get Shue to move so he could actually perform the in-depth examination that he needed to do for his job, Mr. Shue freaked the fuck out. And the doctor was like, oh shit, I'm out. Bye.
This is very upsetting.
Yeah, so he was just like, he reacted so violently to being asked to like just move away for a minute so I can make sure,
Yeah.
you know, what's going on.
I need to check vital signs.
I need to check to make sure that this is what happened. And Mr. Shue was like, nope. And so the doctor like just went out. Bye. Yeah. So the doctor.
That sounds unprofessional as well.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, Mr. Shue.
But Mr.
Trout
Shue was
guy.
about to deck this man in the face. I'm sorry. I've had clients of mine look like they were about to punch me in the face. So I was like, okay, bye. I understand the sentiment
Yeah,
perfectly.
you're also not examining a dead body.
You're right. I'm not.
So, you know,
I also still
I get
don't want
it.
to get punched in the face.
I understand his
I've
point.
come real damn close to getting punched in the face multiple times.
I understand his side
Yeah.
of being like, I'm not dealing with this. Because honestly, that's my attitude with everything. Someone raises their voice or someone says anything to the negative, I'm like, you know what? I'm done.
This is not my problem
This isn't my
anymore.
situation
No.
anymore. Because I'm a happy person and I'm just not going to deal with it. But this guy's a coroner.
Yes.
So, you know, yeah, the guy's being a dick. But when you say, move away so I can do my job, and he freaks out, that's when you say, look, I'm still going to do it. You can stand here and freak out if you want to. But I still got to figure this out.
But he didn't want to get punched in the face.
Well, he sounds like a pussy. I mean, I don't want to get punched in the face.
Have you
either.
ever been punched in the face?
No,
It
and I
sounds
don't want to.
terrible. So,
I've never been in a fight.
yeah. Once again,
I'm a hippie.
I support Dr. Knapp and his decision to GTFO.
Hold on. This is one of those things where you got to not clarify. That's not the right word, but you have to be specific because I support him not wanting to be punched in the face. I
Yes.
don't support him not doing his job. So I'm gonna put that caveat.
Well, sometimes there's extenuating circumstances where, you know, you can do your job to the best of your ability within the bounds of what you're confronted with.
Yes.
And
I agree
think
with
you
you.
did that, but anyway, let's
I'm
move
with
on.
you. I'm with you. No, I want to talk about this for at least 30 more minutes.
This is already a really long ass
It's-
episode.
Y'all, we're halfway done.
It's a problem.
At the most. That's what I've
Anyway.
been told.
Let's keep going. So, initially, the cause of death was listed as, and this is in quotations, everlasting faint. Because it was the 1870s
The
and
fuck
why
is
the
everlasting
fuck not?
faint?
I don't know. But it was later changed to, quotations, childbirth.
What?
Yeah.
All right,
So-
now I'm even more upset.
So the doctor had been treating her for, quotations, female trouble for
Goodness.
a couple of weeks prior, but it's unrecorded if she was actually pregnant or not. So she died of
She
either
died.
everlasting faint or a childbirth. But
Wait. Was she pregnant?
Nobody knows.
What?
Nobody knows.
Well, the coroner couldn't even fucking check her out, so he doesn't know.
Exactly. But, like, he's been treating her for female troubles. And, you know, in that day and time...
I want to know what he thinks female troubles are.
Well, you know, in the Victorian era, female troubles could be, like, they thought the uterus wandered around the body. You know that, right?
Yeah.
They thought that hysteria was just like...
Yeah, that's where vibrators came from, was female hysteria.
Like
because they thought the female just needed to fucking get off.
They had to have, like, an orgasm to make their uterus, like, go back where it should be.
And that way their head gets clear.
Exactly. Yeah. And the doctors were like, oh my God, I'm so tired of fingering my clients. Let's just mechanize this bullshit.
No one has ever said that. No one has ever said that
Just,
sentence.
like, get in the carpal tunnel from just flicking the bean all the time. And
God, I'm so tired of fingering my clients. What's my life come to?
So they invented the vibrator, which, once again, is like the only time that, you know, men being ridiculous has ever helped.
Oh, it helped so much.
Incredibly.
It has saved our marriage.
So, like, I'm thinking that this...
I made myself laugh.
I'm pretty sure that my dad's probably going to listen to this. So
no, it's fine.
Maybe we don't talk about that. I'd rather my dad not hear the vibrator talk, but whatever. It's fine.
This is the second time I've gotten drunk, like, very inebriated on the podcast. And things are very funny.
That John Emerald got me.
Right?
I am
Isn't it good?
Very inebriated very fast. I'm sorry.
Isn't it good?
But anyway, so my thought is, like, he's treating her for female trouble, which to me just sounds like he's got a vibrator just...
Yeah. I think that he was just masturbating her.
Who knows?
I don't.
Okay,
but that's
so that
what I'm
really
speculating.
has nothing to do with the actual story, so we're going to move on.
No. Please don't move on.
No, we're moving on.
Okay.
So they held the wake at Zona's parents' house, like you do.
Yeah.
So during the wake, Trout Shoe exhibited super erratic behavior. He wouldn't allow anyone to approach the casket at all. So, you know, when you're holding a wake or a funeral or whatever it is that you hold in whatever your cultural thing for death is, you know, so like anyway, at that time period, a home wake was the thing to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you've ever been to, like, just a traditional funeral in the United States, you know, you go up, you look at the body in the casket, and then you go back, sit down, that kind of thing. If anybody even approached the casket, he just, bonkers, crazy.
What was he doing?
Bananas.
Was he telling them to leave or move?
He was just, like, freaking out and throwing himself on the body and just, like, keeping them away, basically. And... so he wouldn't allow anybody to approach the casket. And then he was like, oh, she needs a pillow on this one side of her head. And so he put like a pillow on one side of her head and a rolled up sheet on the other, which he explained, he was like, it'll help her rest better. It'll help her rest easier.
Oh, God.
He was propping up her head from either side with a pillow and a rolled up sheet. Because it'll be more comfortable for the dead body.
Yeah, and it is the 1870s. Let's give them this.
I guess.
But then, that still seems like really Egyptian.
A little creepy?
Like, I don't know if I'll say creepy, but like, in the afterlife, she has to rest type of thing.
I suppose.
It's archaic.
I think he's just being a creep, but anyway.
Well, I do too, but I'm saying that it may have been standard practice at that point.
Probably not. And then he tied a big scarf around her neck, saying, oh, this was her favorite scarf. She would want to be wearing this scarf. So he just tied this big old scarf around her neck. So, hold on.
This is the creepiest guy.
Yeah, so Zona was buried on... January the 24th, in a local cemetery, and it's now called the Soul Chapel Methodist Cemetery. So you can see pictures of her grave online if you care to look that up. We might link it in the blog.
If we remember.
I'm gonna try. I'm
We're not going to remember.
No promises.
We're not going to remember.
Just Google it. It's fine. The Greenbrier Ghost. It'll come right up. All right. So Zona's mother, Mary Jane Hester. Mary Jane was convinced by his bizarre ass behavior, and once again, she didn't like him from the get go.
Yeah.
So she
I remember
him.
that.
Yeah.
It was 45 minutes ago, but I remember it.
But she was convinced by his behavior at the wake that he'd murdered her daughter, which I think...
I agree, Mary Jane.
Yeah. Good for you, that female intuition, ma'am.
I agree.
Good job. So after the wake, Mary removed the sheet that she would put in the casket. And she noticed that it smelled weird, so she went to wash it.
Ugh.
And when she went to wash it, all the water in the wash tub turned red.
Oh, God.
And then the sheet turned a sort of pink tinge, and the water cleared up. And Mary was superstitious, and she was like, oh, that's an omen. She's been murdered because pink sheet, red water, murder.
It could have just been the bed sheet where he laid her in after she fell down the stairs.
I don't know. But
or after he bludgeoned her to death.
We'll talk about that later.
Oh.
So it's reported that
she
began, after she got that omen from the weird sheet, she began to pray every night for weeks and weeks that Zona would return to her and explain what happened. So, the story goes that Zona's spirit appeared to her mother in a dream 4 weeks after she was buried. She first came as a bright light, and just a bright light. Then over the course of a few days, she came back, and she came back, and she came back, until she came back as a little bit more of a figure, and a little bit more of a figure, until a few days later, she appeared in her mother's dream as a fully formed apparition of Zona.
When you say a little bit more and a little bit more, I imagine that it didn't go into much detail, but I still want to ask this.
Okay.
Was it like very clear and then a little bit less clear, until she was just full on opaque? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, no, so like she started as like a bright light, and then like she sort of started gaining, like it was like a hazy fog. It started to take form over over a few days.
Was it like maybe her feet first? Or like...
No, it was just a nose. She had a floating nose for a couple of days. Sorry.
That floating light became the nose, and then everything grew out from the nose. I just want to give people nightmares.
Yeah.
That listen.
So after a few days, she became a full figure, and she came to her mother in a dream, and she said that her husband had been incredibly abusive. He attacked her the day that she died. And he attacked her because she hadn't cooked any meat for his dinner that day. She had just cooked vegetables. So he was pissed, and he broke her neck. And to prove it, the ghost rotated her head 180 degrees until it was facing straight back. So
some people can just do that, though.
No, this was all ghostly in her neck, and she...
I'm just saying... You know, some ghosts are double jointed too.
Maybe? I don't know.
I think that they are.
So, Mary finally had the information that she was looking for. Zona told her. And Mary went to the local prosecutor, and his name was John Alfred Preston. So, she told him her story, and her story was convincing enough for him to reopen the case of the daughter's death. So... that happened, but he also must not have, like, put all of his faith in the ghosty ghost part.
Let's hope not.
Because he sent several of the deputies in the town to re-interview the people that were surrounding the case. So they talked to the doctor, they talked to the little boy, his mom, everybody that was involved. They re-interviewed him to make sure that they had everything down.
Good.
Yeah, like you do, because he was a prosecutor and not a dumbass.
That's good detective work.
Even if you believe the ghost story, you should probably make sure that we've got, like, actual facts and stuff.
Right, you can't go into court with a ghost story. Now, it has worked in the past.
Which, we're going to talk about that in just a second.
Oh, God, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
You need to calm down. Anyway, so in fact, several of the locals had also already been gossiping about the crazy ass behavior that Mr. Shue was displaying at the wake, and they were whispering, obviously, that he had murdered her. Because, I mean, I know everybody grieves in different ways, but the scarf and the pillow and the not letting anybody touch her kind of thing was a bit much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
So it was sort of a gossipy thing that he might have had something to do with it. So on February the 22nd of 1897, they got a court order and the body was exhumed and re-examined at the local schoolhouse.
Without him there this time?
No, actually, he was legally required to be there as her
that's
next
upsetting.
of kin. But he was restrained and not allowed to, like...
What do you mean by restrained? Was he tied to a chair?
I don't think he was, like, physically restrained, but there were, like, law enforcement officers that were like, you need to sit over there, sir.
Guards of a sort.
Yeah. And it was stated in the news reports of the day that he vigorously complained about this, about her being exhumed and examined, but he couldn't keep them from doing it because, I mean, they were legally, you know, they had gotten a court order and all of that. So the examination took 3 hours, and they found that Zona's neck had indeed been broken. And so the report was later published on March the 9th of 1897, and it stated, and this is a quote from that report, "The discovery was made that the neck was broken and the windpipe mashed. On the throat were the marks of fingers indicating that she had been choked. The neck was dislocated between the first and second vertebrae. The ligaments were torn and ruptured. The windpipe had been crushed at the point in the front of the neck." So this was enough evidence to have Shue arrested and charged with the murder.
Good, first of all. Well, at least at this point, with everything that I know. Good.
Yes.
I do have a couple of questions at this moment, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Number one, she was found at the base of the stairs.
Yes.
She could have fallen down the stairs and in the process broken her neck. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Number two, in 1873. Why do I have 1897 here?
That's when the trial happened. Hold on, maybe she was born in 1873. She was born in 1873. I'm sorry.
1897 was...
Yeah, 1897
when the body was found.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I have. So in 1897, are they completely sure that they can find fingerprints and marks on an exhumed body?
Yeah.
Because I honestly don't know the history of like medical practice in that regard.
That was, I mean, yeah, she had post-mortem bruising and all of that stuff. No, that was a thing at that point in time.
Okay. That was really pretty much it with what I had, because I'm just trying to find loopholes because that's kind of my thing.
No.
Need to be 100% sure of stuff.
No, this dickwad did it, and we'll talk about it.
Well,
anyway.
Leah, we don't know that.
I'm sorry, but it's true.
Mr. Shue, don't sue us.
He is dead.
We don't know.
DED. Anyway, so Mr. Shue was held in the jail in Lewisburg while he awaited his trial. So during the time of the investigation during this time, they investigated the drifter's past because obviously he wasn't from that town. He was just passing through, looking for work, that kind of thing. So,
as a blacksmith
for Mr. Crookshanks.
I remember that, and that is something I'm proud of.
So they were delving into his past, and they revealed that he had been married twice before. His first wife divorced him on grounds of spousal abuse, accusing him of being incredibly cruel and violent towards her. His second wife died under very mysterious circumstances less than a year after they got married. Zona was his third wife. So while he was in jail, he was talking to all of his fellow inmates, saying that his goal was to marry 7 women, and that he would soon get released because they didn't have enough evidence to convict him of the crime. Not going to say anything? Your face looks like you want to say something.
No, I don't have anything to say. I'm just, the face you saw was, this
he
guy.
He wanted to marry 7 women.
It's just me in my head going, this guy.
He's worked through 3 of them.
Who doesn't want to marry 7 women?
But not at the same time, apparently. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. Like, at that point, I'm pretty sure that Mormonism was taking off in America. Wasn't Joseph Smith already dead and Brigham Young was there in Utah and he could have gone to Utah and just married as many women as he wanted to?
But that is like a lot of work, and Utah's far, so...
Yeah, it's far, but he drifted into West Virginia. He could have drifted into Utah.
Yeah.
Married a bunch of bitches.
I mean, let's not look into it that far. Anyway.
I'm just saying it was a possibility.
So, on June the 22nd of 1897, they began his trial. And Mary Jane Hester...
Just, we got to stop struggling with that name.
The mom, was the prosecutor's star witness. And the prosecutor... So, the guy that she had told all of her stories to, the prosecutor kept his questions based on concrete, tangible facts. He never mentioned the ghost story or the sightings or anything like that.
Sounds good to me.
He just kept it, like, straightforward. But the lawyer for Mr. Shue was going to attempt to discredit her, and he took the opposite approach when he cross-examined her. He asked tons of questions about her ghost story because obviously the ghost story had spread throughout the town. Everybody knew the ghost story.
Right, he's doing his job and he's doing it well.
Yeah. But the tactics seemed to backfire because even under intense badgering and questioning and just being kind of rude all the way around to this witness, Mary didn't change her story at all. She kept super consistent about what she had seen and what she had heard, and her story didn't change at all.
Well, it's not going to when you believe that sort of thing.
Well, and since the defense had been the one to introduce the story in the first place, the judge couldn't instruct the jury to disregard the ghost story. So the ghost story was entered into official trial court proceedings.
Nice turn of the century, America.
Yeah. So most of the jury seemed to believe the ghost story, and he was found guilty on July the 11th of 1897, and he was sentenced to life in prison. A lynch mob formed to take him from the prison and hang him.
Nice.
But the mob was broken up by the deputy sheriff before anybody could get him and harm him.
Also nice.
And actually, the leaders of the lynch mob got prosecuted themselves because apparently that's just not okay. So,
also nice.
Congrats, West Virginia. You are...
Everybody acted completely correctly in this situation.
Very professional. Great job.
I agree with literally all 3 of those things.
Yeah.
I want to kill this guy. No, you're wrong. Calm down. And you're being tried for being an asshole.
Yeah. It's pretty
great. I agree with all of that.
Just snaps all around. They did a good job.
Congratulations. You were up there with Louisiana in my book.
Yeah. So after that, Shue was moved to West Virginia State Penitentiary in Moundsville. He lived there for 3 years, but he died on March the 13th of 1900 from an unknown epidemic. That's all it said.
There was an epidemic in West Virginia?
It was unknown. Some kind of disease that they couldn't quite tell what it was, but a lot of people died from it. And he was buried in an unmarked grave near the penitentiary.
Ugh. They were still doing unmarked graves at that point? In 1900?
Uh-huh.
So they just put people in the ground and fuck it. This is where we're throwing people.
Uh-huh. And good old Mary Jane never changed her story, never recanted it, never said anything was different than what she said in the trial.
Well, I'm sure she believed every bit of it.
Yeah, and Zona's ghost was never seen again. She came back, she told her mom what she had to tell her, and she just went back. She not going to stick around, not going to haunt anybody. Just, you know what, this asshole killed me. You should probably make sure you take care of that. And they did, and it was fine. She's resting in peace, chilling out, no more ghosty ghost.
Well.
And this is still known as the only case in U.S. history where the testimony from a ghost convicted a murderer.
I mean, it's still not that, though. It's still all of the hard evidence that did it.
It was the ghost testimony.
It's not, though.
It was the ghost testimony.
I'm with you on the fact that
ghostimony.
the defense did something stupid.
Yeah.
So they brought it up, and the jury went, you know what? Fuck you. So that's, like, I get it, where the ghost, in quotes, was believed.
But also, the dude he put her in a high-collared dress, tied a scarf around it, wouldn't let anybody touch the body. You know he fucking did something.
Right. Well, we don't know.
That's sketchy as shit.
But, yeah. We're pretty sure.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to grief shame anybody. Everybody grieves differently.
Would you I don't want to grief shame.
But, like, if you broke someone's neck and you wanted to keep him away from him, he did all of the things that you would do if you did that.
Well, I mean, all the things that I would do for sure.
Yeah. Please, we don't have stairs. Please don't break my neck.
No, I don't. I'm not planning on it.
Oh,
but at least now I know that this can be used as evidence. So
yeah, I'm going to come back and haunt your ass. So don't.
No,
do that.
You'll go to your dad, and then your dad will testify that your ghost said.
No, I'm sorry. If I show up dead, Daddy's going to take care of you himself.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't have to worry about that.
Hashtag Southern Daddies.
If you show up, Dad. Oh, God. Oh, but yeah. Is there more?
No, that was it.
Well,
a ghost convicted a murderer and you want more?
I'm just saying the ghost didn't do anything.
The ghost convicted the murderer, Mitch.
I mean, the prosecutor who did his job convicted the murderer.
Sure, but the ghost helped.
Well, no, the jury just went, you brought it up because you're an idiot, and we have hard evidence, so you fucking suck.
Yeah, but the ghost helped. If
the ghost completely helped.
If the ghost hadn't come and they exhumed her body, it would have just been like, oh, she died of everlasting faint.
I still want to know what everlasting faint is.
Well, I think it's like you faint, but you never wake up, so it's everlasting. Which is just death.
Thanks, Leah. You faint, but you never wake up, so it's everlasting. Got it.
I'm just trying to help,
I'm glad you explained.
Just trying to help.
I'm so glad you explained.
Well, are you ready for my toast or not?
I don't know. Are we ready for it?
Well, do you have any questions about the ghost that totally convicted that guy, Mr. Trout?
I have a lot of questions, but
and his boss,
this episode is already
Mr.
gone
Crookshanks.
real long, so we're not going to do it.
All right.
So tonight we are going to toast blue flames and prosecuting ghosts everywhere.
Woo! In old Bladenboro, learn to stop, drop, and roll if third-degree burns are not your end goal. If you are a husband, don't break your wife's neck. Her spirit will haunt you and dang you to heck.
I wasn't ready for heck.
Because it rhymes with neck.
I know why it's there. I just wasn't ready for you to use the word heck.
You're welcome.
Oh, that was genius.
I know, I'm getting good at this.
Yeah, it's taken 7 episodes.
Shut up, it was
every
adorable.
poem has been fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm not kidding. I just enjoyed it. You know, I didn't even listen to the rest of it. I just heard the word heck. And I just thought it was great. Just the best it could have been.
You're welcome. I knew that one was going to get you, though.
Just because of heck?
Dang you to heck.
Like you have diarrhea and I have heck? My word is heck. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Southern Spirits Podcast. Please follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Southern Spirits Podcast. Also follow us on Twitter at S-Spirits Podcast. If you have a personal story that you would like to send us, or if you have any corrections for us, especially a few episodes ago we asked for Spanish corrections. Give us anything you can in Spanish. Or if you have any alcohols I should try, send us an email at southernspiritspodcast@gmail.com. We will see you next week.
Bye, y'all.